All right, hello, and welcome to Math for Moms and Dads. Today we're going to be talking about dot talks. My name's Eric Krantz, and you can find me at the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools. Please feel free to contact me at ekrantz@fcoe.org at any time, but especially after you watch this video if you have any questions. So before we start our dot talk itself, I want to talk about the word subitizing. Subitizing is just a term that says we have the ability to see how many items are in a set in front of us without having to count them one by one. Now, the average adult can only subitize up to about 7 items. After that, we start breaking the number of items into small parts and then adding them together. We often do this without even thinking about it, without even realizing that we're doing it until maybe we have an experience like this one. So I'm going to put some dots on the screen in front of you, and then I'm going to ask you how many dots there are and how you saw them. So here we go. Here's the first one. Ready? Okay, I know that was up there fast, but what did you see and how did you know how many dots there were? Well, it's possible that you knew that there were 6 dots on the screen as soon as you saw those dots. So here's what it looks like. There were indeed 6 dots in case you weren't certain. And like I said, adults can subitize up to 7 items. So you might have seen this and immediately thought of maybe like a little bit of a crooked die or something like that, that you would roll, dice that you would roll. So you might have seen that there were 6. Remember, we can subitize up to 7 items. However, some of you may have immediately broken those dots down into smaller numbers. So for instance, you might have seen that there were 3 sets of 2 dots. And so 2 plus 2 plus 2 equaled 6. And then you knew that there were 6 dots once you thought about that there were 3 sets of 2 there. You also might have seen it horizontally. So maybe you saw 2 rows of 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6. And then you knew that there were 6 dots. So 3 plus 3 equals 6 down there at the bottom. And then yet another way that you might have seen it is physically through shapes. So you might have seen 2 triangles. So 2 triangles of 3. Again, it's still 3 plus 3 plus equals 6, but it's a different way of viewing it. So that was our first example. I'm going to show you yet another one now. Now this one is, I'm going to tell you, it's more than 7. So most likely you're going to break this into parts in some way inside your head. That's what I'm asking for, is how are you breaking that apart? How are you seeing this set of dots? All right, are you ready? Here we go. All right, I know that was fast again, but how many dots did you see? How do you know that there's that many dots? Well, you might have seen it again in a horizontal way, the same way we did the last one, where you saw a row of 4 and a second row of 4 plus 1 more at the end. So 4 plus 4 plus 1 equals 9. Or you might have seen 2 groups of 4 like you would see on dice. So 4 plus 4 plus 1 again equals 9. Or you maybe even broke it into smaller parts. Maybe you had 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 more equals 9. Lots of ways to make the number 9. There was a first grade class that I was in where a little girl told me she saw a ladybug when she saw these dots. And I could not see the ladybug. So I'm going to show you. She came up and circled the dots like this. Now maybe you can see the ladybug. The head with 2 eyes and a nose, and the back of the ladybug with 6 dots on its back. So we talked about how 6 plus 3 is also another way to make 9. Now, you might think that that's really fun, but what good is that in terms of mathematics, Eric? Well, why is this useful? There's some big points in this. One, we get to explore as a class lots of ways to decompose a number, but not just by putting numbers out there, but showing it in a concrete way. We can count the dots and see that there are 6 dots and 3 dots, and that still makes 9, right? Another thing is as a class, we get to see that there's a lot of right answers to the same question sometimes. Sometimes there's just one right answer, but sometimes there's a lot of right answers. And then finally, we realize that we don't all see things in the same way, but we can often get to the same answer through different paths. And those are three really good things for our little ones to learn. Now, dot talks generally are done in kindergarten and first grade, but we can make dot talks be as complex as to be challenging even in middle school if we want to. But dot talks are a great way to start talking mathematically. So when you hear that your students are doing number talks or specifically dot talks, this is what they're talking about. All right. Thank you so much for joining me in this little video jaunt. I hope that there are more mathematical connections for you in what your students are doing in mathematics today. Talk to you soon.